welcome to the Cultum Vita channel. Today on You Need to Start Now, we're going to continue our journey on our path to financial freedom, and today we're going to be talking about mindset, specifically the blueprint to the mindset to financial freedom. Now, this is really important, so important that I would go as far as to calling it the cornerstone to financial freedom, because once you get the mindset, everything else is going to be easier. Not easy, but it will be easier. Now, what's the framework, right? The framework is relatively simple. It's three elements, and the three elements coincide with financial freedom seen as a path, right? One is to get started, two is to continue on the journey, and three is to reach the end, right? And the best way of thinking about that is looking at it in believing in the how, believing in your why, and then believing in yourself. Now, the great thing about this is we call it a blueprint because you're not there trying to together a recipe. There's no order to it. It's just material that you need, and you can maybe make the garage before you make the main house, and you can maybe make the different elements, you can gather the material, for example, and it's different for everybody. And the main thing here is be curious, be open, and just stay true to you, because what works for you is not going to work for other people, and what works for us isn't going to work for you particularly. And I think the best way to go about this is to give examples in reference to ourselves so that you can get a flavor of what we mean by it. And along those lines, I'm going to pass it over to Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. I think this is one of my most exciting topics in all of personal finance, because mindset is really the key to unlocking financial future or your financial freedom
And future.
and future. But I started investing in 2004 and didn't know anything about it. My wife's like, "Hey, invest." And what do you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So I called up USA, who was at the time managing my insurance, and I knew they did investments, and it's a trusted company. So gave them a call and said, "Hey, I want to invest. Where do I start?" And they pointed me to Roth IRA. Great choice.
Yeah, better choice than that.
They gave me some mutual fund that was garbage. I didn't know that at the time. I just went with a recommendation. Fast forward to 2014, and my dad passed away. I mentioned it before, and that was really the catalyst. I couldn't emphasize that enough. That really started me on my financial freedom journey. And I wanted to reclaim my time, and that was what it was really about. If I wanted to go to work and my boss said something stupid, I wanted to be able to just leave and never have to worry about it again. And so the only way to do that is if you have enough money, right? And so I was like, okay, well, how do I get money? And it all came back to investing, right? That's the only way you're going to really generate true wealth. So how do you invest? How do you invest? So that led me to the next 6 to 8 months of my life. I was researching, portfolios and trying to figure out, the best match for me. And I finally came across index funds and have been with them since. But, the most important thing you can do is start.
And this story I think is a good example where you don't always have to start with the beginning. For Matt, and I think a lot of things we need to think about that are negative in our life, like death. It's a good catalyst. It makes us ask good questions. And for you, it got you to your why. But you realize, well, need to know how to do it to get to that why. And but I'll bet you anything that in educating yourself for the how was a little easier because you know why you were doing it, right? And yeah, and so that's the thing. The why is the motivation, and that's great, right? And you're gonna find this theme where once you find one of these elements, the next one's gonna be a little easier, and the last one's gonna be the easiest. It just goes that way, right? For me, the story is also a little odd, and I started with the last one. For me, I was very young, and I had abusive father, and I was a minority, inner city, poor, and all those together made a really not great life overall, at least material wise. And I realized at that age that I really needed to rely on me, on myself. And I started with little things, and more and more, it gave me confidence. I mean, like, wow, I really can change. I might be in a bad situation, but I can make this really good relative to the bad situation. And that gave me a lot of confidence to do more and more. And eventually, I got mentors through different scholarship and fellowship programs. And again, started small, and I realized, wow, everything they're saying is really panning out to be really good. And when one said, hey, get a Roth, you know, put it in an SP 500, use compound interest. To be honest, I didn't really believe them, but I did it, right? And uh, and it goes to this idea that the beginning, most of the time, is going to be either Matt's path, where you go and you learn knowledge and you learn and learn enough, to what I like to think about is jumping, right? Is you get to the cliff and you got the glider on, but you have to believe or understand how that glider works. Or like me, you know someone who's been gliding their whole life, or you trust them, right? They're really, really smart. They're really, really capable, and you know, they know what they're doing. And so then you go and try it, and you're like, it's gonna be safe. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be amazing. Uh, for me, that's what it was. A mentor gave me that confidence to be like, okay, then I'll get started. And because I knew I could believe in myself, I continued on that path for 20 years until I got there. The why came in the middle, as it should, for me at least. And didn't really know why I wanted this money. I just knew life was better with it. But thank goodness I stopped in the middle and was like, why do I want this? Because it changed and it made it easier. Because when things got hard, when the market wasn't good, like you said, it motivates. And that's pretty much it. This blueprint to a mindset are these three elements, and they're extremely, extremely important in giving you mindset. And when you have it, everything else will be easier on your path to financial freedom. The thing you have to realize is everyone's going to have it slightly different. They're going to address it slightly different, and they're going to see it slightly different, and they're going to start at different places, and that's perfectly okay. No matter where you are, remember curiosity, because it's really good when it's about knowledge. It's really good to ask yourself. And then remember openness in reference to being open to other people, being open to yourself. And the last one in reference to being true to yourself. Because whatever you find, don't judge it. If it works for you, great. And don't try to compare yourself to others. It's your path and it's your mindset, and that's what works.
Everybody runs their own race. The most important thing that you can do is just get started. You do not have to be a financial expert to do that. Open the account, start your automatic investments, and start today. Start yesterday.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing, guys. We want you to get started on compound interest because the earlier you get started, the more powerful it is, and you need to believe to be able to jump. That being said, how do we get started on these things, right? We've talked about it. We know the framework. We know the idea. We know why it's important. How do we get started? For the first one in believing in how, my suggestion goes back to something we touched on already, is figure out what you need to feel confident to do that jump. And that could be seek out people that you trust, that you respect, that maybe know about this, and keep asking questions, being curious until it clicks. Or like Matt, go out there, do the research, keep learning until you're like, if I don't do this, I'm crazy, right? Like that's what it comes down to eventually when you get enough of it, and you're like, I cannot not do anything. Like I have to act now, and that's what we want.
Ask us questions.
Yes, by all means, comment. And in the why is a little trickier. It helps if you have a foundational reflection, and so my recipe for that is reflect, reflect, reflect. Don't be caught up on the details. Just know more and more about yourself. Get comfortable. Find it as a habit. If you need suggestions, look at the book, The Selfish Guide, or check out the other videos about reflection. You just need to do it, and if it's just 2 minutes, but that's going to allow you the space and the time to ask those whys. Why do you want financial freedom? Why is it important to you? Why? And the more you know about yourself, the more you'll discover, and the better you'll get to the why. The last part in believing in yourself, in my experience, is just starting small. You can do like Matt and jump off the highest mountain. There's nothing wrong with that. It works too. But most people need a little better, need a little build up, right? And like for me, it's about doing the little things consistently over time and realizing, wow, you can do amazing things. Because ultimately, we're not special. Maybe what we accomplish is not as common, but we're just like everybody else. There's nothing special. The difference is we were able to acquire this mindset and we got started. And that's the difference here. You can all do this. You just need to figure out your way of doing it. Because if you do, you'll be unstoppable. And that's what we want for you. And that's pretty much it. That's the blueprint to the mindset to financial freedom. Hopefully this video was helpful. And if you like it, please follow. If you think it can help someone, please forward it along. And if you want more information, please check out the book, The Selfish Guide. It has a lot of other information, especially about reflection. Or check out the website, cultumvita.com, as well as the varying social media out there. We have, I like to believe, something for everybody. There's lots out there, so please check them all out. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and stay true to you. Thanks for watching.